Hello everyone, welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel youtube.com/AaronRiftNoDQ. I hope you all had a very Merry Christmas and a Merry Rusev Day. And yes, it is true, December 25th was in fact Rusev's birthday. So happy belated birthday to my favorite bearded man, other than myself, Rusev. Happy birthday, sir. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, I hope you had a very happy and safe holiday. I just wanted to remind everyone that Christmas is a time to be kind to people and be nice to people, but the fact is, you should be kind to people and be nice to people year-round. Every single day of the year. The people you care about, you should show them how you feel every single day of the year. And with that being said, I would like to express my gratitude to all of you guys for watching the videos. I say it every time. I'm very grateful to have amazing support from you guys tuning in and watching the videos and spreading the word. And thank you all for your concern about my return to Portland. I did, in fact, get home safely. Sunday night, there was a very bad snow/ice storm, mainly an ice storm, actually. Mostly ice, with a little bit of snow in Portland, and it was a little bit tricky getting home, but I am back, and it's time to get back down to business. We have Monday Night Raw. Eddie says, I'm on strike from Raw until Stephanie gets fired and new writers are in place. It's the Costanza said no Mick Foley clause last night. Wow, that's rare. Monday Night Raw, Christmas night. You know, all day on Monday, I was thinking to myself, is there actually a Raw? Because it did not feel like a Monday night. I'm not sure how you guys felt. I'm sure you guys were busy doing things on Christmas Day, but there was like no buzz for this show whatsoever. Now, I see some comments here. That's Gotta Be Kane says definitely a throwaway Raw. There was actually something big that happened on Raw, and I will talk about that here in a few minutes. Cindy wants to know, do I think it was a mistake for Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan to win the titles? I will get to that in a few minutes. I want to talk about the beginning of the show. There was a segment with Elias and John Cena, who made his return to Raw. And how stupid is it? This is one of the things that I don't like about WWE, the fact that the writing is so lazy. You had John Cena on the Monday Night Raw brand, just completely random a couple months ago. Then, all of a sudden, he's on SmackDown's team at Survivor Series, and now he's back on Raw. It waters down the whole brand extension, in my opinion. I wasn't a fan of it. German Cesaro, what was the point of Elias losing clean? I will discuss that here in a second. A lot of you guys talking about the CM Punk chants. Now, you have to love Chicago. They always do this. You can always count on Chicago to do the CM Punk chants. Virtue's trying to get on my nerves here. I'd rather walk with Elias than sing with Aiden English on Rusev Day. You son of a bitch, Virtue. By the way, Star Wars sucks. There you go. Suck it, Virtue. Anyways, let's get back to CM Punk and the chants from the fans. Elias did a great job here. He definitely referenced CM Punk, talking about how CM Punk would not show up and interrupt him. I thought that was a nice little ad-lib by Elias, and I'm assuming that he was told that he could acknowledge CM Punk. I don't think he would go into business for himself. Stephanie did this last year. If you guys remember, Stephanie actually did bring up CM Punk's name. It might have been a year or two ago. I'm not sure when it was, but that was a nice little touch there to actually reference the chants. And it felt like he almost had to because they were so loud. But yeah, he quickly shut them down. And I think he did a good job because I don't recall, now granted, I watched the YouTube clip. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Actually, I think I did watch it on Sling. Last night I was going back and forth between Sling and watching the YouTube clips on my plane flight home from Los Angeles. Correct me if I'm wrong. During Hideo Itami's match with Brian Kendrick, there were no chants for CM Punk. And when Itami hit the GTS, the crowd did not chant CM Punk. So there you go. You know, I think Elias did shut those chants down, and the Senate says correct. That was correct. Offman Rule says the crowd did calm down with the Punk chants after the opening segment. So well done, Elias. Now, as far as the match goes, you know, a lot of people saying, well, you know, Elias has lost again, but you have to look at it from the positive perspective. John Cena won a hard-fought victory over a very game Elias, as Michael Cole would say. You know, this is so typical, you know, the guys like Elias and Jason Jordan losing these matches, and Michael Cole is always like, a very game Elias or a very game Jason Jordan lost to the big star. You know, it's getting a little bit ridiculous now. That's just the go-to phrase every time now. A hard-fought victory over a very game guy that's never going to get the big push, because John Cena and Roman Reigns are the guys, and they will be the guys for the foreseeable future. John Cena happened to Elias, downhill from there. Again, same format as Roman Reigns. Not for 1 second did I ever think Elias was beating John Cena. When they do the near falls, I know Cena's kicking out at 2, so I don't care. I really don't care about the match, because I know Cena's not losing clean. Roman Reigns isn't losing clean. It's the same thing time and time again. Ooh, Virtue is being harsh here. He just put somebody in timeout. Is Virtue abusing his power, guys? In the chat room, let me know. Do you think Virtue is abusing his powers? Zane Rapture says the crowd chanted, "This is boring," during the match. Cindy says he's doing great. All right. Well, we'll see if Virtue continues to stir up some controversy here in the chat room. It's the Costanza says Virtue is Stephanie McMahon in disguise. All right, so yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the Cena-Elias match because it's the same thing we've seen over and over again. Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe, they had the IC title match, and Roman Reigns got DQ'd because he was not listening to the referee's 5 count, and then he shoved the referee. So, of course, this is just continuing the feud. If, in fact, Reigns loses the title to Joe, I'm guessing it will happen on a pay-per-view and not on the Christmas edition of Monday Night Raw. Braden says Samoa Joe is so boring. I love Joe. I think Joe is great personally, but we all have our different interests and tastes. Just like I'm not a Star Wars fan, and sorry, Virtue, 0 out of 5 for all the Star Wars movies. Just my opinion. Very overrated franchise, and I'm gonna get some heat from that, I'm sure. But hey, I'm entitled to express my opinion. Anyways, let's stay on track with the wrestling talk here before I get too much heat. Heel rift here at work. Booker T keeps burying Jason Jordan. Yeah, I mean, that's just Booker T being Booker T. Not really sure what else to say about that. So Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, fine, you know, just keeping the feud going, whatever. I wasn't expecting a title change or anything. The big surprise on this show, of course, was in fact a title change. We saw Jason Jordan and Seth Rollins defeat the Bar to become the new Raw Tag Team Champions. And trivia note, Jason Jordan is now the first person to win the NXT Tag Team titles, the Raw Tag Team titles, and the SmackDown Tag Team titles since the brand extension started up again. So congratulations to Jason Jordan for making history. And of course, the big story is Jason Jordan getting this push. And I think a lot of it is due to Dean Ambrose being hurt. With Dean Ambrose out, this opens the door for Jason Jordan to step in and get more of a push than he was already getting. Nicola says Jason Jason Jordan deserved that title win. Victory says that was stupid. Dean will turn heel. We'll see. There's a lot of different ways it can go. And I'm not sure what's going on with Jason Jordan exactly. People are wondering, well, is he a heel? Is he a face? Over the past several weeks, it feels like Jordan is being a heel, being very whiny and complaining and being like the Kurt Angle character of 1999, or being even further back, the Bret Hart character of early 97, just being very obnoxious and annoying. Who knows what's going to happen? I mean, maybe Jason Jordan will go full-fledged heel, but if Dean Ambrose is going to be heel, which I would like to see, maybe Ambrose will come back and he's jealous of the fact that Rollins has a new partner and snaps and goes heel. So there are some different ways it could go. What does this mean for the Angle and Jordan storyline? Great question. I mean, there's also that. What do you do with Kurt Angle and Jason Jordan? I've seen some speculation about maybe Jason Jordan facing Kurt Angle at WrestleMania, especially if WWE is going to do Triple H versus Strowman instead of Triple H versus Angle, which is also a possibility. So if WWE does do Strowman and Triple H, I could very well see Angle facing Jordan at WrestleMania. And that could be the payoff to this whole Angle and Jordan storyline. You would think that there would be something with Angle and Jordan where there's some sort of falling out between them at some point. Hero Reborn says the build-up to Mania with Angle and Jordan began last night. Yeah, I mean, that's what I would predict right now, that it's going to be Angle versus Jordan at WrestleMania, and maybe if Ambrose comes back in time for WrestleMania, Ambrose will face Seth Rollins and turn heel and be jealous of the fact that Rollins went off and formed a team without Ambrose. We could see something like that happening. Who knows? Mads S says, "What's up, Aaron? Watching you all the way from Saudi Arabia." Thank you. That's awesome. That's one of the things, as I've talked about, that I love about doing these videos. The fact that people from all over the world are watching. I can connect with people from all over the world. And as I head into 2018 here with NoDQ.com, 20 years. I first started NoDQ.com back in 1998 as WWFWCW.com. And the whole thing that intrigued me back then was the fact that I could publish something online and people from all over the world could look at it, and I could interact with people from around the world. I thought that was fascinating. 15 years old, being able to connect with people like that on a worldwide basis. That was definitely something that really motivated me to get the website going. So yeah, Jason Jordan is getting his push. Ulysses, oh wait, okay, just looking at some of these comments here. Man's not hot. Okay, don't know what that's about, but okay. Darren says, "I'm glad you do No DQ Live." I'm glad to have you as a viewer, so thank you. You guys make it happen by tuning in and spreading the word, and I really do appreciate it, like I said. Grateful 24/7 around the clock every single year. For 20 years now. Victor says, "Happy Rusev Day." Hero Reborn says, "For being a Christmas show, it was not horrible." Paras says, "Aaron, I rely on you for the results." Well, thank you for that. Let me think about what else happened on this show and cover some of the other events of Raw. I mean, really the most noteworthy thing was the tag team title change. That was a little surprising because I was expecting Raw to be a total throwaway show. So Asuka is in the Women's Royal Rumble. She announced it in a promo segment with Alexa Bliss. And you had a backstage segment that also involved Alexa Bliss basically cock-blocking Enzo. You had Enzo and Nia Jax talking, and they were about to kiss under the mistletoe, and then Elias Jax. Did I just say Elias Jax? Wow. Alexa Bliss. Wow, that was like terrible botch right there. Alexa Bliss came in. Oh, I'm just laughing at myself. That was like the worst botch of all time. That was worse than my opening from last week. But yeah, you had Alexa Bliss come in and cock block Enzo Amore. That was funny. I mean, I'm enjoying the storyline. I like it. I think it's entertaining. It's something, something to change things up a little bit. I'm cool with it. Walk with Nia. I don't think Asuka will win the Rumble. WWE love to throw curveballs nowadays. Well, who's going to eliminate Nia Jax from the Rumble? That's a question. I mean, I'm guessing it'll be like maybe Andre style, where you have 10 of the women throw her out somehow. It's going to be interesting to see how the Women's Royal Rumble is played out. Are they going to go over the top, just like the men? How are they going to eliminate Nia Jax? I mean, there's a lot of questions for this Royal Rumble. But Asuka definitely seems to be the odds-on favorite right now, unless somebody like Ronda Rousey shows up, which is always a possibility. Never rule it out, despite all the news about Ronda maybe not coming to WWE for WrestleMania. I sense that it's WWE trying to downplay it and make it more of a surprise when she does show up, because everyone's expecting it. So you want to try to throw people off and surprise them. I would be surprised, personally, if Ronda Rousey doesn't show up by the Royal Rumble. You know, with her filming schedule, it might not be possible, but I expect Ronda to be at WrestleMania this year. This seems to be the time to do the angle, and we'll see what happens. If not, I think Asuka is your best bet, and then WWE does Asuka versus Alexa Bliss for the title at WrestleMania. Asuka just might win, and then Ronda doesn't appear in the Royal Rumble, but does appear on television and challenges Charlotte at WrestleMania. I could see that happening. So we'll see. But I think right now, Asuka is my personal choice to win the Royal Rumble, and I think she has the best shot of winning it. Who knows? Maybe James Ellsworth will return and enter the Women's Rumble and win it. Hopefully that's not the case, but after Money in the Bank, anything's possible. Yes, there was, Braden. There was, in fact, a Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt segment. Matt Hardy actually did something in the ring, although it was just him attacking Bray Wyatt, trying to hit the twist of fate, but Wyatt got out of the ring, and then Matt got on the mic and started just doing his laugh. The Matt Hardy the Woken laugh, and that was pretty much the segment. Could have been better. I mean, I start laughing when Matt Hardy does the laugh because it's just so ridiculous and over the top that I cannot help myself, but I enjoy it. I just hope they'll do more with this and just really take it to the next level. What that is, I don't know, but they got to do something different. It feels like they're doing this way too slowly, and maybe that's the point. Maybe WWE is trying to drag it out while Jeff Hardy recovers from his injury. Edward 001, if NoDQ wasn't your job, how much wrestling would you really watch weekly? I'll tell you. If this was not my job, I would watch the YouTube clips of Raw and SmackDown and the pay-per-view events, and that's it. Of new stuff. I might go back and watch the old stuff, Attitude Era, and maybe some other things, but that's about it. I would definitely watch less than I do. I mean, every week, unless I'm on an airplane flying, I am watching Raw and SmackDown live every single week, all 3 hours of it, and it can be quite a chore. It can be a lot of work at times to watch those shows and sit through them. SXHBK Raw's too long. Will ever go back to 2 hours? Unlikely. WWE is going to keep producing 3-hour shows as long as USA Network wants it, and USA Network does want it. I mean, even though ratings have been down, they're still very solid numbers, and USA Network's happy with the 3 hours. Adrian just left a $5 super chat donation. Thank you, Adrian. Do you think Big Cass will return as a bodyguard for somebody, possibly Dean Ambrose? No, I think Big Cass will return and get a big push as a competitor. And I think there's a decent chance we will see Enzo and Big Cass reunite, but Enzo will be the manager for Big Cass and maybe Carmella, and they'll reform their faction in WWE. That's what I would like to see. But I think Cass will get a major push. I don't think he'll be back for the Rumble. I still think he's going to be out until around WrestleMania, maybe after WrestleMania. I don't think he'll be back for the Rumble. Do you think WWE needs another shakeup soon? Well, what do you mean by a shakeup? Do you mean a superstar shakeup, or do you mean a creative shakeup? A creative shakeup, absolutely 100%. I miss watching Cass kick Enzo in the face. Well, I feel they're stronger together than being enemies. Brother Nero says AJ's next opponent. Great question. I'm hoping we will find out tonight on SmackDown Live. And by the way, I will be back tonight. So this is the first time in history, a first here on NoDQ.com. I'm doing 2 live videos in one day. This is to catch up from last night. And then tonight I will be back around 10:15 Eastern Time, 7:15 Pacific Time to discuss SmackDown Live. And I'll talk more about the Royal Rumble, AJ Styles, and all that good stuff. We had a couple of squash matches on Monday Night Raw. By the way, Larby, Fastlane rumors, it's actually not a rumor. The Arena officially announced a Fatal 5-Way match as the main event for Fastlane. So unless that's a placeholder match, which would be really weird because it's basically false advertising if they don't do that match now. Yes, card is subject to change, but you know, you're announcing that match and then people are buying tickets for that match, you know. That would be weird if WWE had no intentions on doing that match and it was just thrown out there completely randomly. So I'm guessing that is the match, and it could always be changed. Maybe that information wasn't supposed to be put out there to the public, and the Arena did something they weren't supposed to do. I don't know at this point what's going on, but the Arena officially announced that match. So it's not a rumor. It is something that was announced by an official entity, the Arena that's hosting the Fastlane pay-per-view. But I'll talk about more with the SmackDown stuff later tonight on NoDQ Live. On Raw, we had a few squash matches. We had Kane destroy Heath Slater, and I guess there's a storyline with Heath Slater and Rhino now. Rhino's trying to get Heath Slater motivated and get him to have the Jinder Mahal push, I guess, you know. It'd be funny if Heath Slater ended up just turning on Rhino and getting this monster push and putting Rhino to pasture. That would be funny. I don't think poor Heath Slater is going to get that push, even though he has kids and he needs the job. I don't think he's going to get that push. And then we had another squash match. We had, what was the other one? With Finn Balor. Who did Finn Balor beat? I'm forgetting now. Somebody has to... we had Braun Strowman defeating the Miz Taraj, Curtis Axel, and Bo Dallas. Kurt Hawkins. Now, thank you, Cindy. Kurt Hawkins took another loss. What is his streak at now? I don't even know the number off the top of my head. It's the reverse Goldberg syndrome with Kurt Hawkins. Does anybody out there know the record? Okay, it's 147. Thank you, guys. You guys are good with your trivia. Maybe a couple of you need to challenge Jeff Meacham for the Wrestling Trivia Challenge on Season 3, which will be debuting, or premiering, I should say, early January. So stay tuned for that. And by the way, pick up a NoDQ.com t-shirt if you haven't already at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search NoDQ. Adrian says, will Elias get heat for mentioning CM Punk? No, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I don't think he would have gone into business for himself. My guess is before the show, they told him if the crowd starts chanting Punk really loudly, go ahead and reference it and shut it down. And that's what he did. I don't think he would mention it without being given approval ahead of time. And of course, Stephanie did it, so it would be very hypocritical for Stephanie to do it, and then Elias gets in trouble for mentioning it. The chants were really loud, too, so it was almost, like I said, it was virtually impossible for Elias to not reference it, considering how loud they were. SX, HBK, The Rock guy needs a rematch against the Meacham. That is what we have planned for the first episode of Wrestling Trivia Challenge Season 3. The rubber match, Jeff Meacham versus David of Gibraltar. Also, in case you guys missed it, we had an exhibition match, which I posted on, what was it, Thursday or Friday. We had Greg Cherry versus Interstate Kyle, and Greg Cherry announced on that episode that he will be the new host of Wrestling Trivia Challenge moving forward. So stay tuned for that. And again, pick up a NoDQ.com t-shirt. We have a Wrestling Trivia Challenge t-shirt. ProWrestlingTees.com, search NoDQ, or check out the link in the description box and use the code SAVE5 to get a discount on your purchase. I think Virtue does like smelling Kyle's feet for sure. Royal Rumble 2019 location. That I don't know at this point. I don't think they've announced it yet to my knowledge. Maybe they have. I don't know. Happy Rusev Day, Victor E. So I think I covered pretty much everything on Raw. There was a cruiserweight match, which, you know, I talked about this last week. You know, of course they do the typical Christmas match with the presents, people being slammed into the gifts and the Christmas trees. They did that with the cruiserweights. So, you know, just typical stuff that they do on the Christmas episodes. And yeah, overall, very average Raw. But there was the one noteworthy thing that happened on this week's show, the title change. So if you're going to check out anything on Raw this week, check out the main event match with the titles changing hands. That was one significant angle on the show. Other than that, just a very standard Raw in my opinion. So that pretty much covers everything on Raw. I think I got all the information out there, all my thoughts on the show. My thoughts on Goldberg headlining the 2018 Hall of Fame. I mean, makes sense to me. Goldberg just had his big run, and you know, this would be a great time to do it. Offman Rules just sent in a $5 super chat donation. Thank you very much, Offman Rules. I appreciate it. You are awesome. A3K Wrestling says Elias versus Cena. Ha 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 ha. Braden says Lesnar is at Raw next week. Oh boy, I'm so excited for Brock Lesnar on Raw next week. He's going to come out there and do his same pose and just stand there. Paul Heyman's going to say, my name is Paul Heyman, and I'm the client for the Beast, Brock Lesnar, blah, blah, blah. Kane is going to be victimized. Braun Strowman's going to be victimized by the Beast, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be the same promo. Everyone's going to say Paul Heyman's a great promo, which we all know he is, but it's the same damn thing every single week. Yeah, it's boring. And I hate to say that about a Paul Heyman segment, but unless Paul Heyman goes into business for himself like that one promo where the fan proposed to his girlfriend and the crowd started chanting, she said yes, and then Paul Heyman started ripping into the fan. Unless he does something like that, then it's just the same thing every week and it's boring. So, yeah, not really excited for next week's Raw. You know, they're going to do something with Lesnar. Maybe they'll have Kane come out. Maybe they'll have Strowman come out and do more crap with them. Whatever. I am still not looking forward to this triple threat match. Maybe it'll surprise me. Maybe it'll be a really good match, but I'm not getting my hopes up about it. Apparently the cat has arrived. Yes, everyone's commenting on the cat in the chat room. The cat has arrived, which means I'm getting more thumbs up on this video. So thank you, Cat. Thank you for making the cameo on NoDQ Live. I appreciate it, Cat. The cat always knows the right time to make an appearance. Mahal is buried alive. Well, we'll see. I mean, maybe Jinder Mahal will win the Royal Rumble. Oh boy, don't get me started on that. That would be just awful. Jinder Mahal winning the Royal Rumble. Just when you think the push is over, imagine Jinder Mahal winning the Rumble. I'd almost rather see John Cena or Roman Reigns win than Jinder Mahal. 3 people I do not want to see win the Royal Rumble. John Cena, Roman Reigns, and Jinder Mahal. There you go. Anybody else, I think I'm cool with, to be honest. Batista WWE return rumor. Maybe we'll see Batista return. I don't know if that's the case or not. I don't know if it's going to happen this year, but let's face it, Batista's almost 50 years old. So if it's going to happen, it needs to happen soon. The older Batista gets, the less impact it's going to make and the less he'll be able to do in the ring. I say if Batista's interested and he's available for WrestleMania, bring him in. But don't do Batista versus Triple H. Do something like Batista versus Braun Strowman, or Batista versus Samoa Joe, or Batista versus Brock Lesnar, which I'd rather see than Lesnar versus Reigns personally. Put Batista in there against somebody we haven't seen him face before at WrestleMania. Anyways, guys, on that note, I will go ahead and wrap up today's video. Thank you guys for tuning in, and never fear, because I will be back later tonight. So if you are looking for more No DQ Live, I'll be back. Second video in one day, first time ever on NoDQ.com. So spread the word tonight, 10:15 Eastern, 7:15 Pacific time. I will be back and better than ever for another edition of No DQ Live. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you tonight.